So it is day 16 today, which marks our halfway point of term 3. We were almost there last week, but now we've officially finished 4 weeks of school this term, and now we're in the second half with the last 4 weeks. So you guys are doing amazing. We're in unit 2, so we're right on track. We're right on schedule. I'm going to move this to the side. And in our do now, I told you to solve each equation for the value of n. And then I put a little note at the top to remind us of our inverse operations. That's where if you see addition, we get rid of it by doing the opposite. We subtract. If we see multiplication, we do the opposite to get rid of it. We divide. And vice versa. We can flip-flop those when needed. So let's look at number 1. Remember, our goal is to get the variable by itself on one side of that equation. So I have 28 equals n minus 43. What do you guys think is a good first step to take here? Go ahead, yes.
You take 43, put it under your 28, equals 43 under 43.
Okay, so you're going to take 43 and put it under both sides here. You did it under here and under here. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, now what are you doing with 43? Are you adding, subtracting? Okay, we're canceling it. So how do I cancel it? Do I add, subtract, multiply, divide?
You add it.
Add it. Good. How'd you know we were going to be adding it?
Because when you subtract, you're supposed to add.
Yes. We're using inverse operations. Since we started with minus 43, we got to do plus 43 to get rid of it. So they cancel. And what did you do next?
Now I added 43 and 28 together.
Perfect. 28 plus 43, 71. Very nice. So I write 71. I bring down my equal sign, and then I bring down n. So 71 equals n, or if you like having your variable first, you could flip-flop it and say n equals 71. Both of these are correct. Perfect. Does anybody have questions about number 1?
No, only is different but same the answer in 71.
Yes, so you still got 71?
You misunderstood that.
No, the other one.
Because I had 15.
In 71.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got this answer? That's good. That's also right. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, can we try number 2? Let's try number 2. I have n plus 13 equals 28. What do you think we should do here?
Take 13 and put it under both of them.
Okay, let's take 13 and put it under both of them. Now, I would love for you to tell me, how did you know we were going to use 13 instead of 28? Because this is the tricky part for some of us.
Both sides have to equal.
Yeah.
Yes, both sides do have to be equal. So, you know, if I do one thing over here, I got to also do it over there. But wouldn't it still be equal if I did 28 and 28? How do we know that we should use 13? You're right, we're using 13. How do we know, though?
I was just a guess.
Well, it's a great guess. You're right. You're right. Does anybody think they can explain why it's better to use 13 here instead of 28?
Because it's the one that's in front of the equal sign.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It is here right in front of the equal sign. And the other thing is, guys, remember our goal is to get n by itself. And 13 is the one that's over here with n.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get rid of the number that's with our variable. So that's why 13 is the right number to choose, because we're trying to get it away from n. 28 is already away from n, so we don't need to mess with 28. We're going to mess with 13 to get rid of it.
Now we're subtracting.
Yes, now we're subtracting. Good. So what happens with my 13s?
They cancel.
They cancel. I'll draw a line. Yes, and then 28 minus 13 is 15. Very nice. So I'm going to bring down 15. I have an equal sign and n. N equals 15. Good.
That's great. I was at home. I wasn't even in class.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. See, I love it when you guys, if you miss a day, when you watch the lesson at home, oh my gosh, you are so much better off when you come back. It helps. It helps so much. Okay, do we have any questions about number 2? Any questions at all before we move on to number 3? Okay, let's go ahead and move to 3 then. Number 3 is a little different. I have 45 equals 5n. Now before we solve this, can someone tell me what does it mean when I have a number next to a variable? What operation is happening?
This is actually multiplication.
Yes, yes, this is multiplication. This means 5 times n. That's what this means. Okay? So, go ahead, yeah.
Now we take the 5 and put it under the 5, under the 45.
Yes, we're trying to get anything that's attached to n, we want to get it away from n. So, we're going to get rid of 5. And because we're starting with 5 times n, we're starting with multiplication, we can look at our inverse operations. What's the opposite of multiplication? Divide, division. So that means we are going to divide by 5 on both sides. You can do that by either drawing a line under your numbers, or you could use the division symbol. Either one's fine with me. I'll do a big line underneath it all.
Now your 5's cancel out.
Yes, my 5n over 5, those 5s are gone.
And 5 goes into 45 9 times.
Yes, 45 divided by 5 is 9.
So 9 equals 10.
Good, we'll bring down equals, we'll bring down n. 9 equals n. Or you could write n equals 9. Both are correct. Both are correct. Do we have any questions about number 3? Everybody feel okay about that one?
Excuse me.
You're okay.
Bless
Yes. Did I hear somebody say question?
you. No, I think that bless you.
Oh, bless you. I swear. I'm hearing things. Okay, let's look at number 4 then. Now I have n over 5 equals 15. What does this mean when I have n over 5? What's happening? Division. Division, yes. So if I have n divided by 5, how am I going to get rid of, well, first of all, am I getting rid of 5 or am I getting rid of 15?
5.
5. We're trying to get n by itself, and 5 is with n. We want to get it off of n. So to get rid of divided by 5, what do we do?
Yeah, you multiply the 5 to the 15.
Yes, we're going to multiply by 5 on both sides.
Now, these two, 5 and 5 cancel each other.
Yep, the 5s will cancel.
And then you'll get 75.
So I'm going to bring down my n, my equals, and then 15 times 5. I believe you're right. I think it is 75, but I'm going to double check. Because I'm bad at mental math.
I times 15
It is.
times 5.
Good deal. 75.
And you can also multiply the two numbers and get the answer to the
Right.
cross multiplication.
You absolutely can. You absolutely
That's what
can.
I just did.
You could think of this as n over 5 equals 15 over 1.
Right, and multiply.
And you can cross multiply if you know that method and you're used to doing
That's
that.
what I was taught. That's what
Yeah, that works. That totally works too. Same thing. That's really smart to recognize that. Yeah, you can totally cross multiply. And in case you're like, what is cross multiply? I'll show it to you real quick. So you don't have to do it this way, but if this makes more sense to you, you can.
Either way,
It
it
makes
was
more
both
sense
for me.
Yeah. So you can think of it like this. If I have n over 5 equals 15 over 1, I'm really doing n times 1, which is n, And then I do 15 times 5, which is
75.
75. That gave us our answer.
And that's crazy because that's the more simplest way.
Right.
Yes.
It really is. Honestly, I have actually never taught this way. I bet you Dave taught you that.
No, I
No?
learned that in actual high school.
That's
I
crazy.
remember you in one of my GE classes.
That is actually so cool. Well, I might need to start teaching this way too, because that is a lot simpler, isn't it? I like that way. Well, both ways work, but I like this way too. Thank you for telling me. Okay. Any questions on number 4? Okay. Let's look at the challenge ones, okay?
Yeah, that was the ones I'm confused on.
So, these are challenging because what we've been looking at for the last few days are what we call one-step equations. You always only have one step. You add 43, there's your answer. You subtract 13, there's your answer. You divide 5, there's your answer. You times 5, there's your answer. It's always one step. Now we have 2 steps. This is what's different. I have 3 times n, but then I also have minus 2 equals 31. There's 2 different things that I have to get rid of to get n by itself. So before we go through and do number 5 and 6, I want to talk about order of operations when we're solving equations. So we know that our order of operations, we just took a big quiz over that. We did all kinds of things with our PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I know that our order of operations tells us that if I see, let's see, I'm going to rewrite that. PEMDAS. This is typically the order that we do math in. Our parentheses are exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. Now, I'm going to tell you something that might blow your mind. It might not, but it kind of blew my mind when I first thought about it this way. But whenever we are solving an equation, we are doing the opposite. That's why we use inverse operations. Just like when I see a plus sign, I know I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to use a minus sign. When I see minus, I do plus. We're always doing the opposite. So, just like we're using the inverse operations, we're also going to do the inverse order of operations. We're doing everything backwards. So, we're starting from the bottom to the top. If I see addition and subtraction, I'm going to do that first, okay? So, I'm going to write a little note over to the side. Here is the order of solving. And we'll take a nicer, neater note today in our actual notes. But I'm just going to make a mini note for now. And I think this is the simplest way that helps me to remember what to do first. The order of solving is 1, we undo or get rid of addition and subtraction first. So I just say undo plus minus. First, we get rid of that. Then, we undo multiplication and division. And right now, these are the only operations we're working with. We're not messing with exponents and stuff just yet. So we're just worried about remembering we're going to get rid of addition and subtraction first. And then we do multiplication and division. If you do it in a different order, you're going to get a funky answer. And I can show you why here in a little bit. But here's our order. So if I'm going to do addition and subtraction first, then looking at number 5, I have 3 times n minus 2 equals 31. Am I going to get rid of the times 3 or the minus 2 first?
Minus 2.
Minus 2. So, what would I do to get rid of minus 2?
You put a 2 under the 2 and a 2 under the 31.
Perfect.
Okay.
And what am I doing with that 2?
Add it.
Add it. Since it's minus, we do the opposite. We do plus.
Then I understand what I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that.
We got 33.
31 plus 2 is 33.
Cross out the 2.
Good, my 2's cancel.
Now you bring down the 3 in.
Yes, now we bring everything down. We've got 3 in. We just brought that down. Equals 33.
3, yes.
That's okay. I knew what you meant.
Now we put the 3 under the 3 in, and the 3 under the 33.
Yes. So what just happened here, guys, is we just solved one step. We got rid of the minus 2. Now it's like we have a whole new equation. 3 times n equals 33. So exactly like you said, to get rid of multiplication, we divide. So we're going to divide by 3 on both sides of my equation. And what happens to my 3's over here with my n? They cancel out. And that's going to leave me with n by itself equals 33 divided by 3 is 11. Good.
All right, now I figured it out.
Yeah, so these aren't too tricky once we break them down. It's just knowing which step we do first. And sometimes that's the trickiest part. We're going to do a ton of practice with this today. Do we have any questions about number 5 before we try 6? Okay. So let's look at 6 now. I have n over 4. And what does that mean, n over 4?
Divide.
Divide. Good. It really means n divided by 4. Plus 6 equals 3.
So we're taking the 6 under the 6 and the 3 over 6.
Yes. So what's happening here? We have plus 6. We have division. We want to do this first. We're going to do the opposite. Minus 6 on both sides. Get rid of that. They cancel.
And we're going to get a negative number.
We are going to get a negative number. What is 3 minus 6? Yes, minus 3 or negative 3. Good. And what do I need to bring down?
n over 4.
Good. I still have n over 4.
Now this is,
And don't forget our equal sign.
Yeah.
Good.
so now we are dividing negative 3 from 4, negative 3 from negative 3.
Okay, so let's see.
Times n as well.
Okay, so I have n divided by 4 equals negative 3. So which of these numbers
4.
needs to get away from n? 4. Yes, yes. So if we're dividing by 4, we need to do the opposite and multiply by 4. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4.
4 times 4 is going to cancel out each other.
Yep, they cancel. We've got n by itself equals, what is negative 3 times
Negative
4?
12.
Negative 12. Very nice. Okay, so that would be our answer for number 6. And this is what we're going to learn about today. So if you're already feeling good about this, then that's great. You're ahead of the game. That's really good. Okay, any questions about our do now before we start taking a few notes? Everybody okay with these? If you're not, don't worry, we're going to cover them today. I'm going to put this to the side, and we're going to start a page of notes. So I'm going to title my page that this is Pre-Algebra. And we are in Unit 2. We're solving equations here. And this is the day 16 notes. It is Monday, February 10th. Okay. So I am going to title this page Actually, before I title it, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to grab my page of notes so I make sure I write all the right things for you. So in our do now, we solved a bunch of one-step equations, and then we did two two-step equations. So let's get some official notes about solving two-step equations. So solving two-step equations. So, for example, let's say I give you our 2x plus 7 equals 17. Let's write that out. 2x plus 7 equals 17. And here I'll make sure my 7s look like 7s. 2x plus 7 equals 17, and we are solving for x. So when we have a two-step equation, here's our two steps that we need to look at. Remember, step 1, yes, we're getting rid of addition and subtraction first. And then our second step, yes, undo multiplication and division. Good. So I have 2x plus 7 equals 17. What should I undo or get rid of first?
Addition.
The addition, which I see I have plus 7.
So you're minus 7 on both sides.
Yes, so I'm going to minus 7 on both sides. Now, sometimes with two-step equations, I notice that students get mixed up on what I mean by both sides. They think, okay, minus 7, do I also minus 7 over here?
After the equal.
It's after the equal sign. So if it helps, maybe draw like a little imaginary line. Here's my two sides of my equation. The equal sign separates the sides. So we're going to take away 7 from both sides.
So 7 and 7 don't cancel out each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then 17 minus 7 is 10.
Perfect. So here's our step 1. We now have 17 minus 7 is 10, you said. And what needs to get brought down?
2x.
Good. 2x equals 10. Now, before we move on, does everybody know what I mean whenever I say bring everything down?
Bring everything down to slip.
Yes.
Get a triangle.
Yes. So what we had here, we brought down the 2x because we hadn't gotten rid of that yet. We brought down the equal sign because you don't ever get rid of the equal sign. Okay. So now I have 2 times x equals 10.
Now we're dividing.
Yes. 2x means 2 times x. So to get rid of that, we divide by 2.
Now the 2's cancel each other.
Perfect.
2 divided into 10 goes 5 times.
Perfect. So,
X equals 5.
perfect. X equals 10 divided by 2 is 5. So that's step 1. Here's step 2. That's why we call this a two-step equation. It takes 2 steps. It's going to be stuck in my head all day now. Oh.
This is gonna be on the Google Classroom, right?
Yes, 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 it will be. Okay, let's do another example together, and then I'm going to have you guys try some on your own. So, I'm going to scooch this up a little, and this time let's try 55 equals 3x plus 43. So we got two different things going on here. Got 55 equals 3x plus 43.
Are we doing this by ourselves or we in class?
If you think you know it, tell me about it.
Okay, we're gonna take 43 and the 55 and put 43 under both numbers.
Perfect. So we have,
Subtracting.
yes, plus 43, so we're going to do minus 43 on both sides. Okay. And that's our first step, step 1. You don't have to label step 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then 55 minus 43 is 12.
Perfect. 55 minus 43 is 12. And what gets brought down?
The 3x.
3x. Good. Okay, so now I have 12 equals 3 times x. So I'm going to let somebody else try. I want to make sure everybody's got it because I know you got it. I love that. Who thinks they know what we should do here now?
You're gonna divide
Yes.
3, and then you're gonna divide 12 by 3.
Yes, yes. We're doing 3x divided by 3, 12 divided by 3. That's going to cancel out my 3's. And that gets me with x by itself. So I bring down my x equals, and what is 12 divided by 3? 4. So that is my answer. 4 is x. Or you could flip-flop it if you like to have the variable come first. You could also say x equals 4. Both are correct. Both are correct. So there's step 1 and here's step 2. So there are our 2-step equations. Not too bad, guys. So I am going to give you a few to try on your own now. This will be just you guys. And then we'll look at them together. Before I move, does anybody need this page? Okay, I'm going to turn my page. This was page 1 of my notes. And we're going to start page 2. So again, Pre-Algebra, Unit 2, page 2, and still day 16. And these are going to be problems to try on your own. So let's see. I'll give you quite a few to do on your own, and then we'll check them together. So number 1. (12 plus 2n equals 32). Number 2, we'll do 57 equals 5n plus 7. 3n plus 15 equals 45, and 127 equals 17 plus 5n. Okay. So, let me just make sure everybody knows what all these numbers are. That's 15, these are 7s. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. I'm going to walk around the room, see how everybody's doing with these, and I want you to try to do them on your own. Now, if you are stuck and you need help, just stick your hand up. I'm happy to come around and see what I can do. But we'll come back together and look at these together in a few minutes. So I had you guys try these on your own. Let's look at number 1. Number 1. Who wants to guide me through how to solve number 1 for n? Go ahead.
You will take 12, put it under the 12,
Okay, perfect.
and then you'll take that 12 and put it under 32.
Perfect. Okay.
Now you want to draw your lines.
Draw my lines. You mean like the big line underneath?
Yeah, the long line.
Okay, now what am I doing with 12?
Subtracting.
Subtracting. Okay. Now, how'd you know we were subtracting? This one's a little tricky.
Because you have the plus sign.
Yeah, we've got a plus sign. So this one's a little tricky. Did anybody start by subtracting 2 instead of 12?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so that's a super common thing to do because we're used to seeing the plus sign before the number. But on this problem, I have 2 times n. So the only way to get rid of that 2 is to divide. But we have to do addition and subtraction first. So we're not going to mess with the 2 just yet. We're actually going to get rid of 12. So this one's a little tricky, but we got this.
Yeah, 0.
So my 12s cancel.
And you will have 10. N equals, well, 2n equals 10.
Perfect. 2n equals 32 minus 12 is 10. Or is it 10? Is it 20? I think it's 20. Yeah.
Hold on. I did.
That's okay. It was very close.
I did put.
Hey, silly mistakes. They happen. No big deal.
Now, the 2n goes under 2n again,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have it under the 20.
Perfect. So I'm dividing by 2. My 2's cancel, and I will get an answer of what?
10.
Yep, n equals 20 divided by 2 is 10. That's our answer for number 1. Okay, do we have any questions about number 1? Okay, let's try number 2. Somebody else, who would like to guide me through number 2? Who feels confident?
I can do it.
You want to try? Okay, Brian, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna subtract 7 from 7,
Yes.
and 7 from 57.
Yes, perfect. Okay, then what?
And 57 minus 7 is 50.
Perfect.
Bring down the equal sign.
Equals
5n.
5n, and my 7's,
Cancel.
yep, they canceled. Good.
And then you're going to put 5 over 50 and 5 under 5.
Good.
And you cancel out the 5s.
Mm-hmm.
And 50 divided by 5 is 10, so 10 equals n.
Perfect. 50 divided by 5 is 10. So, again, we get 10 equals n, or n equals 10. Good job, Brian. That was perfect. Perfect. I love it. Questions on number 2? Okay, let's look at number 3 then. Somebody else, who wants to walk me through number 3? Who's feeling brave? Who's feeling brave? Come on, y'all. Y'all are smart. I know somebody can do it. I know you can do it, girl. Who can do it? Bichelle, you gonna do it? Okay. Tell me how to do number 3.
Minus 15.
Yes. Minus 15.
Minus 15 under 45.
Perfect. Okay. And then
Plus
what?
15 minus 15 cancel.
Yes.
And then 45 minus 15 is 30.
30. Good.
And then you bring 3n down
Perfect.
plus the equal sign.
And the equal sign.
So now we're gonna do 3 divided by 3.
Yes.
And then 30 divided by 3.
Yes.
3 get canceled and then 10.
Oh my goodness. Did I give you all n equals 10?
Nope. Except for the last one.
Pretty close to. All of them are n equals 10. That's crazy. So the last one hopefully is not. That's good. Thank you, Bichelle. It was perfect. Perfect. Okay. Last one. Number 4. Who feels brave? Melena, tell me number 4. What'd you do?
I took 127 minus 17.
Yes, minus 17.
And then 110.
Okay, so you got 110. Now, where else did you do minus 17? Oop, I did that wrong. Sorry.
17 minus 17.
Yes, minus 17. Thank you. And I wrote the wrong number. It's 110. That is my bad. So 110 equals, and tell me the rest, Melena.
You divide it by 5.
Perfect. So we're going to divide by 5. Okay, and what happens next? 22. 110 divided by 5 is 22. You guys get that one also? Yay! Okay, guys. That is amazing. I love it. Guys, that is it today. That's our lesson. I'm going to give you a quick exit ticket. And if you would like for me to grade it before you go, you're welcome to show it to me. And I can try to. But no promises. So I'm going to put these notes up. And I'm going to give you things to do. So, let's see. I'm looking at the wrong page. For your exit ticket today, I would like you to do, let's see. I'm going to make an exit ticket. If you want to wait for the copy, you can. If not, you're welcome to write it out yourself on a piece of paper.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah. So here is day 16 exit
I need to put printers in there.
ticket. I know. I am so with you on that. It would save me so much time. Because I don't think it's realistic for me to have all of these made before class, because it really depends on what we cover, what we end up getting to. Because sometimes I have a plan to teach one thing and we do something totally different. You just never know. So this is due due Friday. Due Friday, February 14th at noon. 12 p.m. And I am going to give you some equations. Solve the 2-step equations for the value of n. So, number 1 is going to be n divided by 2 minus 3 equals 12. Number 2 is 15 equals 5 plus 2n. And I'm just going to give you those 2 for today, just 2. So I am going to freeze our screen and I'll make some copies of this. So if you want a copy, I will have plenty as soon as I get back in here. And I'm going to pause, or actually I'm going to end our video. That's all today.